Welcome to another episode of Full Frontal Fatherhood. My name is Julian Redwood, and today I want to talk to you about how to be with your wife or girlfriend's feelings. Women's feelings cause a lot of disturbance in our relationship. The reality is that so do men's. But the prominence of women's feelings is something I want to start with today because men's inability to respond in a way that's helpful often leads to a lot of unnecessary issues in the relationship. And it actually is quite simple what you can do in that moment to provide for your wife in a way that's really satisfying to both of you. Yes, we as men do come trying to fix their problems. We want to solve them. We want to tell them how to do it better or tell them they're being overly pessimistic or concerned or we're worrying too much. But all these things actually make it worse and makes their feelings last longer and thus make it harder on ourselves. So let's talk a little bit first about how feelings work. If you give a feeling space to just move through, it will be gone in a very short amount of time. Even large amounts of anger or fear, sadness, all of these feelings, if we just allow them to come through us, will move really rapidly and we'll be on to the next feeling. The problem is that very few of us have the resources in ourselves or we're taught how to allow our feelings to move through us. You know what it's like. You feel sad and insecure, and the person comes along and says, you shouldn't feel so bad. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Cheer up. It just makes you feel worse. But when that person gets down on your level, puts their hand on your shoulder and says, hey, I'm here. What's going on? And then you get a chance to talk about your feelings and get them out and express them. They move through, and pretty quickly you're back to noticing the blue skies and that life's okay. So just sit there and breathe and notice your aversion to being in touch with their bad feeling. Look at them in the eye. They don't have to be looking at you, but by looking at them in the eye, you're showing that you're there. Even if at the inside you're like, wow, this is really uncomfortable. I really want to get out of here. Just keep your mouth shut, look them in the eye, breathe, and be there for them. And if occasionally you can say, wow, that really sucks, or wow, I can't believe that happened, or you're right, or that's really scary. Just little words of sincere validation will allow them to feel your support. That support allows them to feel like it's okay to have their feeling. If it's okay for them to have their feeling, they'll feel it fully and it'll move through quickly and they'll get it out. And they'll come to a place of relief and also a place of feeling more connected with you. And sometimes maybe the person will just want you to sit there with them and that putting words to it is too much. And that can be really hard, particularly for us men, to be with an intense feeling and not know what's going on. But if we can once again just breathe in that discomfort, put our hand on their back or hold them, breathe into their intensity and show them that we are there for them, it can make a huge difference for them to feel loved and okay in a moment where they're obviously overwhelmed by their feelings. I'd like to take a couple minutes to talk to you women about being with us men and our feelings. The reality is that science has shown that we feel feelings more intensely than you. Our physical reaction to feelings is more intense. What we do with those feelings is obviously very different, and we do have more inclinations to hold them in and repress them for a variety of reasons. But a lot of women actually have difficulty with men's feelings, particularly our feelings of insecurity. Our concerns about not being manly enough or sexually good enough or making enough money. Really uncomfortable feelings for us to feel, and often really uncomfortable feelings for you to hear about. A lot of women don't want to hear about the fact that their man, who they rely on emotionally, it actually feels like a lost little boy sometimes. And so your response in that moment can be really bad and quite hurtful. If this happens for you, just like I described previously, go and be there with your man. Look him in the eye. Breathe into your own discomfort. Feel your own fear of insecurity that makes it hard for you to be with his insecurity. And see if you can just wrap your arms and your love around him. Be in that moment with his intensity. We have a lot of fear about showing our feelings, and it's often said that we're not good at feeling our feelings or expressing them. As a marriage and family therapist, I see couples all the time come in where the woman says, he doesn't know about his feelings and he's out of touch with it. But I just get the guy to feel safe enough and he starts talking plenty, just as much as the woman, about his feelings. We as men need the security to know it's okay to talk about how scared and insecure and sad and lost we can feel. And a lot of times women's response to our initial expression of that can be tepid. just like men's response is often tepid to women's feelings. But because we have that much less experience in doing it, it doesn't take much message to us to go, okay, I got it. I'll just keep it inside. Never mind. I'll deal with it somewhere else. Learning how to be there for your partner's feelings, whether or not you're the man or the woman, really makes a difference in terms of having a healthy, thriving relationship. Coming to understand what your aversion is, how you respond by fixing or telling jokes or moving away or ignoring, and instead consciously choosing in those moments to go and be present physically and verbally and with your eyes, and breathing into your own discomfort, becoming a master of that situation rather than just reflexively reacting. This allows you to be far more empowered in your relationship and really give your partner what they need, which leads to a situation where you both can handle the complexities of parenting and life a lot better. Having a real partner where everybody's being honest about all their emotional muddle is what intimacy is. True connection is about being honest about all the craziness that can happen in our heads and having somebody that we can go and share that with and not feeling alone in a way that we don't need to feel. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Full Frontal Fatherhood. I would love to hear how you do this and your thoughts on it. Please join the conversation below, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Full Frontal Fatherhood. Take care.